Have you ever stopped and asked yourself what would happen if the ammunition industry in the United States, one of the oldest, strongest, and most patriotic industries in the country, suddenly shifted its power base to another continent? Not the machinery, not the buildings, not the workers, but the actual authority behind everything. The decisions about what gets made, when production ramps up, where components go, and which customers receive priority. For decades, American ammo brands were symbols of domestic reliability. Federal, CCI, Remington, Speer, names generations trusted. Yet behind the scenes, a seismic shift took place. A shift so quiet that most people didn't even notice until the ink had already dried. What if I told you that the largest civilian ammunition portfolio in the United States is no longer under American ownership? That the real control now sits in a European corporate boardroom almost 5,000 miles away? It sounds like the opening scene of a geopolitical thriller. But this time, the stakes are real. The people who own the ammunition supply that millions of American shooters depend on are now headquartered across the Atlantic. And whether this turns out to be a minor business move or a future choke point will come down to how the next few years unfold. Before we unravel this massive industry shift, take a quick second and hit subscribe. It keeps independent coverage like this alive. And trust me, what's coming in today's deep dive is information every gun owner, hunter, competitor, and prepared citizen needs to hear. Now, let's go all the way back to where this story truly began. When headlines first broke about the sale of Federal, Remington Ammo, CCI, and Speer, the internet erupted with confusion. Some believed the factories themselves were moving overseas. Others believed the brands were being dissolved or replaced. But the truth was more nuanced. The brands didn't move, the workers didn't change, and the physical plants remained in Minnesota, Idaho, and Arkansas, just as they've always been. What changed, quietly and profoundly, was their parent company. The umbrella entity behind all four brands, previously owned by Vista Outdoor, was sold entirely to CSG, Česká Zbrojovka Group, a massive European defense conglomerate based in Prague. To understand why this matters, you need context, and a lot of it. Over the past decade, global ammunition companies have been merging, consolidating, and swallowing up smaller manufacturers. A few corporations have become giants. CSG, which now controls these American ammo icons, already owns several European defense companies, and even took a majority stake in Fiocchi, one of the oldest ammunition brands on Earth. This wasn't a spontaneous purchase. It was a coordinated move in a long-term strategy to dominate ammunition production globally. But here's where the timeline becomes even more interesting. Back in October of 2023, Vista Outdoor quietly announced they planned to sell their entire sporting products division, essentially the heart of their ammunition business. The initial offer hovered around $1.9 billion. But as months passed and other potential buyers stepped into the shadows, the price rose. Some analysts estimate the final figure landed closer to $2.2 billion. To put that into perspective, that price tag is larger than the annual GDP of multiple small countries. That's how valuable these brands are. Now, unlike everyday business acquisitions, this type of sale couldn't just pass through unexamined. Ammunition production is considered a national security adjacent industry. You can't sell that kind of infrastructure to foreign buyers without government oversight. So the deal landed in the lap of CFYUS, the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States. These are the same people who prevented multiple foreign tech takeovers, intervened in semiconductor deals, and once blocked a Chinese acquisition of a major American food company over concerns about facilities near military bases. For nearly a year, the sale sat under review. There were resubmissions, delays, revised terms, meetings behind closed doors. CFIUS poured through the details with a microscope, evaluating potential supply chain threats, defense implications, and geopolitical concerns. Finally, In June 2024, CFIUS declared the sale posed no unresolved national security risks, giving it the green light. Shareholders approved the sale in late November 2024, sealing the deal. From that moment forward, boardroom authority shifted from Minnesota to Prague. And this is where the story gets deeper. Nothing in America physically changed. But conceptually, everything did. Because the power to decide how, when, and what these plants produce no longer rests with American executives. It rests with a foreign defense giant whose priorities naturally include NATO, European governments, and multinational military buyers. And that is where the concerns begin. Because priorities control production far more than geography ever will. Ammunition is a world of scarcity, not because it's hard to make, but because demand fluctuates wildly. Anyone who lived through the 2020 to 2021 ammo crisis knows exactly what a stressed market looks like. Shelves empty, prices triple, popular calibers completely vanish. And that was with all major American manufacturers under American leadership. Now imagine a future scenario where demand spikes again. Maybe political pressure rises. Maybe global conflict intensifies. Maybe a foreign crisis rattles supply chains. Historically, these events always redirect production toward military and government orders. But now, one of the largest portfolios of American ammo manufacturers answers to a parent company that is also fulfilling European military contracts. And here's the crucial part. Military orders always take priority. Why? Because they're high volume, high margin, and often urgent. Civilian demand becomes secondary, not because the company hates civilians, but because that's how logistics work. Whoever needs more and pays more gets more. It's not politics, it's economics. Lake City showed us this clearly. When they shifted production to military contracts and cut back on commercial 5.56, shelves nationwide tightened instantly. Prices rose, supply shrank, and Lake City is just one plant. Now imagine that same tightening effect happening across Federal, CCI, Spear, and Remington simultaneously, not because the U.S. government ordered it, but because the parent corporation prioritizes other global obligations. If you think that can't happen, remember something important. Europe is currently phasing out lead ammunition in multiple regions. They began banning lead shot in wetlands in 2023 and are steadily pushing for broader restrictions. Even though those rules don't apply in the United States, a foreign parent company typically prefers unified compliance across all facilities. It's cheaper, it's simpler, it reduces legal exposure. That means certain American loads could become slower to produce, not because we banned them, but because a foreign parent company decides uniformity is better for global business. Again, this is not speculation. It's how multinational corporations operate. So yes, this sale matters more than most people realize. To understand what may come next, you need to look at the past. Ammo shortages in the United States always follow a pattern. Demand spikes. Supplies tighten. Components become scarce. Prices rise. And shooters with no stockpile begin to panic buy, making the shortage even worse. This happened in 2008, 2013, 2020, and 2021. Every single cycle followed the same rule. The shooters who were prepared suffered the least. The ones who stocked reasonable amounts early never faced empty shelves or insane markups. That brings us to what smart shooters should do right now. You don't panic, you plan. The strongest shooters separate their ammo into two categories: training rounds and ready rounds. Training rounds are the bulk boxes you burn through at the range. Ready rounds are your sealed, logged, untouched reserve, your carry ammo, defensive loads, hunting rounds, or duty-grade cartridges. Keeping a disciplined separation between these two categories keeps you stable during shortages. If you want a baseline, 1,000 rounds of 9mm training ammo and 200 to 300 rounds of defensive 9mm per platform. For 5.56 or 223, 1,000 rounds for practice and a couple hundred rounds of high-grade defensive or match loads. That is not paranoia. That is planning, and it has helped thousands of shooters weather every supply crunch for the past 15 years. Storage matters too. Ammo lasts decades when stored right. Cool, dry, stable conditions. Ammo cans with good seals. Desiccants inside. Label everything. Lot numbers matter because if a recall ever hits, you don't want to guess which batch you own. And here's something people often overlook. Component prices tell the future. When the cost of primers, brass, powders, or shipping surges, retail ammo will follow within weeks. Keep an eye on these early indicators. They're your weather radar. Reloading is another strategic move. You don't need a $1,000 setup. Even a single-stage press turns you into a producer rather than just a consumer. You won't replace your entire ammo supply with handloads, but you will stretch your training budget further than you thought possible, and you gain independence, something money can't buy during shortages. But the biggest factor is diversification. Don't rely on one brand. Don't rely on one retailer. Spread your buying across big distributors, local shops, specialty American loaders, and regional ammunition companies. The more diversified your sources, the less vulnerable you become when one channel tightens. Now, let's zoom out one more time and look at the big picture, the one most shooters miss entirely. Foreign ownership does not automatically mean a coming crisis. It doesn't mean your favorite ammo will disappear, or that the shelves will dry up tomorrow morning. But it does introduce a new variable into the ecosystem, a variable no longer contained inside American borders. When global companies control American production, American shooters become part of a global demand pool, and global demand is unpredictable. Geopolitical tension rises, NATO ammo use increases, military contracts spike, European factories need more output, international supply chains strain. Raw materials get redirected. And when those dominoes fall, American civilian supply naturally shifts as well. Understanding this isn't fear. It's awareness, and awareness is how shooters stay ready. In the end, your power comes from controlling your own ammunition stability. Build your buffer. Track real indicators. Stay informed. Support American loaders whenever you can. Pay attention to early shifts in pricing and availability. And most importantly, don't get caught off guard like so many did in previous shortages. Because in today's world, preparedness isn't paranoia, it's responsibility. Now that brings us to the most important question of all. With America's biggest civilian ammo producers now controlled by a massive European defense conglomerate, how do you think this will reshape the future of ammunition availability here in the United States? Will prices quietly rise as military contracts take priority? Will we see thinner shelves during global tensions, or will nothing change at all? Tell me your take in the comments. And before you click away, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for Bullet Bound. The story of the gun world is only getting bigger, and I'll be right here to break it all down.